Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Fiorletta, Associate Editor of Retail TouchPoints, and I have with me Sandeep Bhanote, who is a VP and GM of Mobile Retail Solutions at VeriFone Global Bay. Sandeep, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Well, VeriFone Global Bay is making very big headway in the mobile market. Mm-hmm. And as you know, mobile is such a hot topic among retailers nowadays. So I guess to start out our conversation, I'd love to hear your perspectives on the role that mobile is playing right now in the retail world, both from the consumer perspective as well as the retailer perspective.
So I think what you're seeing from a mobile perspective in general is I think you're seeing a convergence of two types of constituents that use mobile. One is the consumer. Think of mobile commerce and that sort of personalized shopping experience on a device at home or wherever you are. The other is the store associate, where I think retailers are, I know retailers are deploying mobile in the store to try to figure out how to deliver more compelling selling experience or buying experience for that consumer in the store. Mm-hmm. So I think what you're now seeing are mobile sort of splitting up two key areas which affect the consumer and being able to drive new compelling experiences in the store, and that's sort of what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And based off of our area of coverage and just having conversations with retailers, mm-hmm. it seems like mobile in the store environment mm-hmm. is focused on line busting, mm-hmm. decreasing wait time so people can complete those transactions in the aisles. But then there's also the clienteling piece too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call out. I think when people first thought of mobile POS, they immediately associated with the idea of eliminating the cash wrap. They said, I want to get my customers out of the store as fast as possible so I can service the next customer. If I get rid of my cash wrap, it's more sales per square foot. But I think, and that was, again, a line of thinking that's happened many, many years ago. I think as we started to deploy mobile in the store, we realized that it's really not about line busting. Right. Maybe if you're more of a transactional type of retailer, maybe it does make sense. But I think for the vast majority of retailers out there, they're trying to compete on value and quality of service. They're deploying mobile in a way in which is more conducive for getting the customer what they want. It's not about how do I get this person in and out within 5 minutes or how do I eliminate cash wrap. It's really more of how does mobile play in that buying experience that makes it more valuable for the consumer and obviously more profitable for the retailer. So from that vantage point, clienteling plays an incredible role of being able to unify the different channels that a retailer has in their organizations. For example, a retailer will definitely have a point of sale system. They'll definitely have e-commerce. They'll have a CRM system. Mm-hmm. But while they're great, at what they do respectively, the true power is to be able to unify them together so that as I'm talking to a customer, Alicia likes red. She is a yoga enthusiast. And she loves rock and roll, right? So now from that perspective, as I start to profile my customer using the retail systems that already exist, it allows me as a store associate to make more informed suggestions to the customer, and at the same time allows the customer to say, I don't want to be a number anymore. I want you to know who I am, and I want you to know what my preferences are. I want you to know what I like, what I don't like, and save me some time. And make this a more valuable shopping experience for me. So I think from that perspective, mobile is doing an incredible job. It's got the potential to do that. Of course, this concept is fairly new, and not many retailers have deployed this yet because it's a new concept. But I think you're going to see lots of those deployments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you touched on a good point in that consumers don't just want to be a number anymore. And you're hearing more about, what about showrooming? People are going to the Amazons, people are searching online just looking for the lowest price. But I feel like if you can provide that excellent experience and provide the best recommendations and experiences in the store, then without a doubt the store's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about the store, in my opinion, is myself, I'm very experiential. I want to go and I want to touch something. I want to try something on. I kind of like the experience of shopping. So for me, the store's never going to go away. Right. But if a retailer doesn't think about how to make that shopping experience worth my while, I definitely would do an Amazon, of course. I mean, Amazon is an essential sort of service for me, but I think going into a store for major purchases and purchases where, or the experience where I want to feel good about my purchase, I think the store is a relevant place to be. And I think there's a lot of innovation happening there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we touched on the mobile opportunity, so to speak. So how can retailers go about executing this for their business? How do they go about determining what sort of model or implementation is right for them?
Well, I think what we're all learning is that the great thing about mobile is that pretty much everyone out there has a mobile phone. If I'm a store associate, maybe I've got a Samsung Galaxy, perhaps I have an iPhone, or I've got some derivative of that type of device. So there is certainly an element of familiarity that exists with mobile. That's fantastic, because that's actually the first hurdle you have to overcome is, are users going to use mobile? And I think the answer is yes. But the second aspect of that, though, is how do I operationalize mobility in my store? That's really been the missing link. Just because you give them a mobile device doesn't mean that they're going to automatically radically change the buying experience. I don't know if that's the case. I think for as much as we think giving mobile or arming mobile into the hands of store associates is a great thing to do, which it totally is, you also have to think and plan strategically about how to deploy that, how to operationalize it in the store. Do we need to change the store setting? We don't want to get rid of our cash wraps, but do we want to reposition them to be sort of follow the flow of how people will use mobile in the stores? And that's a big thing that I think we haven't really done before. Our retailers haven't really thought of, and we're thinking about that now. We're doing it now as we deploy now, because we're learning as we deploy.
Absolutely. So with that, are there any retailers that are sort of leading the pack in this move to mobile? Well,
I think if you look at the Apple Store experience, everybody looks at Apple, and that's the model. That is sort of the shining star in all of our deployments in general, all of the deployments in the mobile industry in general. Not that we deploy them, but I think what makes Apple, what makes that work is two things. One, the technology, of course, but two, which I think is more important, is how they operationalized mobility or that shopping experience around mobile in the store. That's the key thing. And I think more and more retailers are looking at that and studying that and starting to deploy around that. We've got customers that are certainly now working with not just your traditional store operations people, but actual folks that actually understand store flow, that actually understand how to place counters, how to place racks in the store so that the flow of that experience makes the most sense. You'll certainly see some of our customers that we can't name right now do things like that in the high-end fashion apparel space.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we've sort of seen, and just keeping our eye on what retailers are doing, that there's a lot of opportunities for those fashion retailers. It's more immersive. I think mobile allows it to really bring people into the brand.
Totally agree, yeah.
So in terms of the future, it seems like mobile in and of itself is accelerating and evolving at such a rapid pace. What do you think is to come? For the rest of 2013, if you want to go beyond that, what's your take?
Well, I think mobile's done a great job in creating awareness in the retail community, from the perspective of saying, we know we need to do this. I think what mobile has done is it's probably leapfrogged some of the capabilities of the systems that retailers have today. So what I do see from a trending perspective, people talk about omni-channel, multi-channel. There's probably some other word for omni-channel that's going to pop up. Yeah, absolutely, next year. Who knows? I think what's going to, my opinion, what I think we're going to start seeing are more retailers focusing on the plumbing aspect of making mobile work. What I mean by that is, all right, we need to modernize or API enable our POS system. We need to modernize or API enable e-com or CRM, whatever those disparate systems, store systems we have. We need to modernize them to participate in this new world of computing. And I think what you're going to do is once you see that happen, I think now you would then see lots of new opportunities manifest as a result of that. So I think mobile is sort of emerged as, hey, I'm here, you've got to do something with this. And I think retailers recognize that. It's evident in the deployments that are out there. But I think now what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of retailers look at their store systems and figure out how to retool those systems so that they can sort of be relevant in the mobile world.
And what's the role that VeriFone Global Bay playing in all of this?
Well, so obviously, we're a software company, but VeriFone is a really strong provider of mobile of payments in general. Global Bay is our focus is helping retailers modernize their in-store experiences, their in-store systems to allow for those mobile experiences to exist. So that's what we do. We're very passionate about that. We think that there's when you look at at the intersection of mobile and retail and payments and the consumer, there's a whole lot of goodness happening there, and we're pretty excited to be in this space.
Yeah, so you guys are truly entrenched in this mobile revolution.
This is all we do. This is 100% all we do. We do nothing but live and breathe and dream and think about this every waking moment that we've got. So, yeah.
Well, you're probably never bored, right?
No, I don't think
it's always changing. So with that, Sandeep, before I let you go, I'd love to hear any final takeaways or best practices. I know our viewers watching in the retail space would love to hear your take on what they should know.
Yeah, well, listen, I would say if you're a retailer in this space, well, if you're a retailer in general in today's world, you've got great things ahead of you. I think mobile is an important part of your strategy. I think the great thing about mobile is you don't really need to break the bank to sort of dip your toe in the water and experiment. And I firmly believe in experimentation is key, because what works for one retailer may not work for your competitor, or may not work for your peer in that market. So experimentation is absolutely key. What I'll also say is choosing the right provider. Whatever decision you make, mobile moves super fast, and you need to be able to course correct or pivot as the market demands, right? So having a provider, having the right solution in place to future-proof that investment is super important. And then finally, operationalize. Think about not just how to bring mobile devices in the store, but think about how you actually put those devices to use. Think about how you change the in-store selling experience to really maximize on what mobile can bring to the table. So those are the things I'd leave for that retailer.
Words to live by, Sandeep. Thanks again so much for taking the time out.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Definitely a lot of really great insights, a lot of good takeaways for our watchers. And everyone, thanks out there for watching.
Great. Thank you.